We are now. Welcome to another episode of What Were They Thinking podcast, right here on the podcast. I got my co-host Jeremy with me, and I'm Bernard. And Darnell is still missing because it's Darnell, and hopefully he's feeling better this time. We're going to have to start dragging him up out of the grave at this point, at the rate where he's going at. Now, Jeremy, we've had an interesting week.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's worse this week. We got killings going on of nuclear professors and nuclear fission. We got Netflix still trying to acquire Warner Brothers, but looks like Paramount has other ideas with Kushner trying to do a hostile takeover of Warner Brothers. That's interesting. We got Connecticut deciding, we're not going to wait for Congress any longer on healthcare. We got cannabis being reduced in drug level. Yep. We got Florida people being arrested over license plate covers. This is going to be a good one, folks. And we also have, is it a golden ballroom or a bunker that somebody wants? And it's 30 days since the passage of the Epstein bill and signed into law. Tick, 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 tick. And we also have pennies in being interesting again in the news. And we also have Trump throwing a tantrum over state sovereignty in states. And we also have, what was the last thing I was going to say? Oh, I think that's enough for this week.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see where the river takes us.
So maybe the first thing I want to do is, so the new Florida license plate law, cover law, says basically you can't cover any portion of the license plate. This is a very broad written law. It's a misdemeanor. You can serve up to 60 days in jail and a $500 fine. So if you rent a car in Florida, you might want to insist that they take off the license plate frame because it says any portion of the covering of the license plate. So I want to throw a picture up on here real quick. Okay. All right, Jeremy. You see the picture here? This got somebody a night in jail. You want to take a guess of why?
Because it's a Mercedes?
No. So if you look very closely at it, this is the rental car. The little lip over the frame that covers partially the S gets you a night in jail.
Okay.
Because that's covering part of the plate.
Wow.
Yeah. This is a law that was poorly written. There's been advice. Now there's new what's the word I'm looking for? New advisement coming out from different state agencies saying, we didn't really mean it like this, but this is interpret the law. So if it's if it's basically you can read the intent of it, it's okay. But if it's like those dark covers, okay. But until then, I would be recommending to people, I would really be considering removing your frames and just basically having nothing but the screws there, because until we get more clearance and guidance, until Florida decides to get their act together, and this is a state statute in Florida, only in Florida would they make it it's basically equivalent to drunk driving.
I mean, you cover the S on your license plate, you go to jail, but roll down the road in a giant truck rolling coal with Confederate flags off the back shooting fireworks, you're fine.
Yeah, but this looks like another reason why just to pull people over and take a look inside their vehicle.
Yeah.
I just don't know why the Florida passed a law like this. It's probably because of toll evaders, and they were more concerned about the dark license plate covers, the smoke ones you see, so that people are trying to avoid
block the cameras and
cameras and stuff. So welcome to the new norm, and And I would say be careful if you're driving through Florida, if you're on the East Coast.
I mean,
Good.
up here too, you're not even allowed to in Connecticut. I believe in Massachusetts too, you can't. Technically,
Right.
you're not supposed to have anything on your license plate.
But
They don't
Florida
normally pull you
made it,
over for it, but
Florida made it a misdemeanor,
Mm.
a class 2 misdemeanor. That's the difference. I think
Yeah.
up here it's just a civil infraction.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is not a thing to be joking around with. So if you're renting a car in Florida and it has a license plate frame on it,
Now,
I'm
what
gonna
if you
be
visit
asking.
though? Is that any stipulation in the law? Like if I'm driving through and I have
You
one,
have to technically you have to be compliant with the state laws in that state when you cross the
good to
border.
know. Good to know.
So a lot of cops kind of give some leadway with that if you're from another state, but they want to be a hard ass. You know,
Okay.
that could be a real issue for you. So I figured this would be something that people should be aware of, you know, and showing how. And then I guess the other question is, for basically what this name of this podcast was, what was the Florida legislature thinking when they passed this law? Because it's broad and vague and highly subject. So this could be a real problem for a lot of people in that state. So,
or generate some new income. We'll see.
yeah. $500 ticket for an possible 60-day prime. Okay, yeah, we can make a lot of money off of this. Mm-hmm. I figured I would start off with something lighthearted.
Yeah, before we get into the crazy stuff. Lighthearted, you know, your license plate.
Lighthearted, crazy. Yeah. So I guess we should probably talk about it's almost the end of the year, and we should probably talk about Connecticut and healthcare, and Connecticut's just not waiting for the federal government to make up its mind and
in regards to healthcare,
the extension of the tax credits.
Yep.
So let's kind of step back and look at this from the point of view of where we're at. Okay. So on December 31st, the enhanced tax credits are going away. So which means people's healthcare costs are going to skyrocket significantly, because we're talking like 1,000% increase for some people, you know, or $10,000 increase for family of 4 in some cases, which is it's ridiculous. Insane. Okay. So luckily, if you live in the state of Connecticut, Ned Lamont and the infinite wisdom of the Connecticut state legislature is going to be adding $50.8 million, and then said, oopsies, we got to increase that to about $115 million. Excuse me, started out at $70 million and then but increased to $115 million through June 2027 if the feds don't get their act together to help cover the rise in premium costs.
Okay.
Basically, it's called Cover CT, the program. I think it's where they're, but it's for people that are between 100% and 200% above the federal poverty level. Okay.
Okay.
But it also adds some assistance to people that are below the 400%, but not as much as what the federal government was doing. So so this is an interesting thing here that I haven't really seen any other states try to do this. Massachusetts maybe have already some of the infrastructure in place because they were the first ones that kind of modeled this system.
Right.
So they just basically may have to just turn on the old system. It's already on their books. Mm-hmm. But this is a major development because now if some other states like California or, you know, other blue states want to rip a page out of Connecticut's book and basically like, screw this, we're going to do it ourselves. Yeah. That is a definite possibility. And now you're beginning to see a shift in where people want to think about living, because now, hey, it's more better to go live and work in a little bit higher tax state, but I'm getting some serious benefits from it now, you know, like I said before. Now, the other thing too that I would like to point out, this is not when I said Connecticut's not waiting around for the federal government. There's a reason why. there's a discharge petition that been filed
Yeah.
and signed by 4 Republicans and the rest of the Democrats to extend the healthcare credits, not just for 1 year like they originally asked for, but for 3.
Mm.
So this is getting interesting because the Republicans in hard districts like, I don't know, over New York State, or like Mike Waller over like in Westchester County, are going to have some explaining to do if these credits disappear.
Yeah,
So
there's not really a comparable plan that the Republicans have put forward to keep the cost down for people.
yeah,
They put a plan forward, but it doesn't really address these issues.
They're like, let's treat it like car insurance. I'm like, okay, but the product is significantly different than car insurance.
Yeah.
A lot of times you bear the cost yourself on repair and stuff on day-to-day maintenance, while health insurance helps you deal with the maintenance cost, because they're basically functionally a negotiator on your price with the
Mm-hmm.
hospitals and doctors' offices, and they pay a portion of it in exchange for a higher premium. Now, this makes no sense in my eyes. They can't, if they're going to want to be like car insurance, well, they need to regulate it like car insurance, you know. But they're not going to do that.
Oh no,
They don't want the see, like,
because without all the regulation, they can find loopholes and do what they want to work it. And if you put too much regulation in, then there's no way for them to like make money
right.
and
You
weasel
can
their way through the system.
technically not have car insurance your whole life, but that requires you not owning a car. You
Right.
know, having health insurance or not having health insurance requires you to not be living. And
Yep.
I think a condition of health insurance is that you have a living person. And if you don't want to be living, then they tend to classify that as suicidal ideation. And yeah,
Mm.
that's not a good thing. So I think that's a major drawback to kind of looking at it like this. What's your kind of thoughts and opinions on it?
I mean, the way the ACA was set up, it was just funneling like I hate subsidies for corporations. It doesn't make any freaking sense. You're saying that capitalism needs to have these businesses that compete with each other to keep prices low to get all these customers and people. But when the government starts just giving them money to uh, make better products for the people, they just keep jacking the prices up because it's just free money from the government. They don't have to worry about customers not being able to pay for it. They don't have to worry about competing with this other guy down the street because the government's going to give them a set amount of money every year just because. So, and what that does is just going to inflate the prices. And now we're at the situation we're at now where people's premiums are going to jump because now these companies aren't getting that government check. So they're going to pass it on to the customers. Like it's the idea of the Affordable Care Act was good to get people insured. But because it was fought so hard by Republicans in the creation of it, they could only do so much.
Yeah.
And essentially both parties created this mess. The Democrats wanted to give Medicare for all, get everyone on insurance kind of thing. And the Republicans were like, no, you can't do that. We'll let you do this. And we'll let you do subsidies to insurance companies and blah, blah. But now they're blaming, like, you voted for it. You let it happen. This was your compromise you wanted instead of just giving everybody health care. And now when they come to the point of, well, what are you going to do about it? It's like, well, we'll let you guys purchase it. Like a bunch of you guys can purchase a plan together, a bunch of different little businesses, and we'll put like $1,000 in an account if your kid is born. So like later they have money for health insurance. But like, how's that going to help people in 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's not.
What?
It's I think a lot of the stuff that the Republicans are proposing are pie in the sky idealism, and has no basis in reality. And they just no. I think
It's so they can say they're doing something to say, no, we're actually, this will be great and blah, blah, blah.
I
If
think
you
it's
actually
more
look into it, some of them are great. Like $1,000 when a kid is born, put it into a government account that they then have money when they turn 18 to go to higher education or just pay for higher education, and do it. You know what I mean? Like there's,
I
it's
think that
so,
I think these
it's all for
$1,000
show.
accounts, yeah, it's all for show. Unfortunately, and the thing is that what we've found out over the years is that the government likes to raid the Social Security Trust Fund.
Right.
So what's going to happen? You put that $1,000 in that account, and then all of a sudden, the Congress is going to raid it, and then yeah. So
It's
I
like when
think
you
it's
put your
some
money in a
level,
bank, technically your money's not there. The bank's using it to fund someone else to buy
right,
a house, and then
right,
they're making money off of your money being used for somebody else.
correct. And then you get a little interest payment. Yeah, the interest rates have been
and then they give you
lately.
back 0.01% in your savings because you let
Yeah,
them take your money and give it to somebody else so they can make
yeah,
7% on it.
yeah. No. Yeah, that's the reason why we have to have the whole FDIC insurance program because banks screwed up in the 30s, in the 20s.
I'm sure that
I
won't
wonder
happen
why.
with this program though.
Or this administration. Let's just nah.
They're on top
All I
of
can,
things.
all I have to say is FDR was right. You have to kind of make systems up to kind of protect people and the corporations from themselves. And basically be like, hey, we're going to have this FDIC insurance program that's going to protect all deposits up to 100,000, which then they increase it to 250,000 after the financial collapse back in the 2000 era. 2008, I think it was. So yeah, it's just
all for a thing that's made up anyway.
Yeah, and this is what people are saying. Oh, we need to go back to the gold standard. I'm like, it doesn't really matter.
You're basing all of wealth off of just a piece of metal.
Right. Essentially, it's like it's
we could go to the Pepsi standard and decide that one can of Pepsi is worth $1,000. And if we all collectively agree that one can of Pepsi is worth $1,000, it's now worth $1,000. Right. That's how crypto came to be.
Right. It's all fiat currency anyway. The way how you ever dice it. It's all about what people think or what people think things are worth.
Yeah.
So people that argue for the gold standard and then they argue for the gold and silver standard. I'm just like,
no. That people our economy is priced on what they think people will pay for an item. So I mean, this blew my mind the other day. I was looking up flights. A round trip flight from New Haven to Tampa and back on I won't say which, but the cheapest I found was $48. That's 2 pairs of pants. Yeah. To fly to Tampa and back from Connecticut.
Yeah.
It costs less to fly there across the entire East Coast than to fill up a tank of gas on a pickup truck.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just it makes a lot of
like 2 Yankee candles. I could buy 2 candles or I could fly to Tampa and back. What is our economy right now?
It's basically what people want to pay for what they want to pay for.
Exactly.
And people say, oh, the price of food is so darn high.
That's because we keep paying it.
Yeah, because you got to eat,
Yeah. We can inch it up more. They're gonna still buy this bread if we inch it up 50 more cents. All right, let's do it.
Yeah, but
we don't have to. But they're going to give us 50 more cents, and they'll pay it. So why not?
Yeah. So
that's inflation. That's what it was.
Yeah,
people got greedy, and government handed out a bunch of money, and corporations like, oh, people have more money now. We can jack up prices.
All right. Yep. Well, maybe we should talk about. Speaking of greed and gold, I think this is a nice little segue to. Hey, is it a golden ballroom or is it a bunker that you want, buddy?
Right.
As it's been slipping out in the court filings. So
it was brought up in the very beginning that the East Wing is over the bunker, and it was built on top of it as like a project. What was it, in the 70s or
70s?
I forget what it was. The exact date. Yeah.
Might have been.
So I mean, that was touched on in the very beginning of him wanting to build this ballroom. I remember in the news cycle it was mentioned very briefly, and then no one talked about it because he just flooded ballroom, gold, this, dinners, party, blah blah blah, just flooded with just useless stuff, and everyone forgot about the whole bunker underneath it until he stopped paying the contractors. Oh, it's going to be a tax write-off, and we're not actually paying you all that money, and et cetera, et cetera. And now there's lawsuits against him finishing it because he didn't go through proper channels. Now, like, well, we have to finish it because it's a matter of national security.
Yeah. And then they said, we'll go through the proper process for anything that goes on top of it. I'm like,
but you didn't.
Of course, but the courts, that's what they said to the courts. And the court said, oh, come back in 2 weeks and show me how you're doing this. So it's out, and then you let it slip. The military's involved with the project. So sounds like we want a bunker that's bigger and better because you didn't like the bunker that was there.
A big, beautiful bunker.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, gee whiz. What did Hitler put on top of his bunker? Oh, a golden ballroom. Yeah.
History repeats itself.
Yeah. So I'm going so this man is paranoid, wants a bunker, complete it before the end of his second term. Is he planning on not leaving?
I mean, he may have a body double leave, but he's just going to secretly hide out in the bunker and creep out at night and raid the fridge and McDonald's and then go back to the bunker.
I meant trying not to leave, actually give up the reins of power type of leaving.
Oh, well, yeah, that too. That's also possible. I mean, slight possibility.
Yeah. This is now involving into the conspiracy theory of things, but
my favorite kind of theory.
Conspiracy theory things, it's like how everybody claimed that he was still president while Joe Biden was president, okay, this is scary stuff. Okay. So I'm not getting into the construction details of this, but he's stiffing contractors. He's just asking for forgiveness after he's done what he's done. Oh, this sounds like a New York City construction project that he typically runs. So congratulations, people. He's a businessman from New York City.
Bit of a ballroom blitz there.
Yeah. He's doing exactly what contractors do in New York City and real estate developers do in New York City. Go ahead, do the project. We'll deal with City Hall later. So this is what you get when you have a businessman running the country. I'm going to say, I don't want to say I told you so, but sometimes you don't want business people running government because government is inherently designed
not a business
to be slow and not a business and not make a profit, because you don't want the government to do that, because if you do that, the government becomes more subject to corporations and their whims, and then instead of the whims of the people. Oh, gee whiz. They think corporations think that we have an overpopulation problem. Well, how do we get rid of
super
people?
PACs.
Oh, maybe we don't pay for the health care and they start dying off more. I know, more conspiracy things. Speaking of conspiracy,
go on.
Do we really want to talk about the next level of conspiracies at this point?
I mean, it depends. Which one?
Oh, I think we all know which one's coming up.
Which one?
MIT professor was killed. An expert in nuclear fission and magnetic constrainment.
Fusion or fission?
Fusion.
Oh, okay. That makes way more sense. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Professor Nuno Lorio was killed this week. And it was the same shooter that committed the mass shooting down in Brown University. Now, some people are going to be like, why is this being part of your conspiracy portion this week? I'm like, have you heard of big oil? Have you heard of Venezuela? What happens if you have an unlimited supply of electrical generation power from a nuclear fission reactor? Or fusion reactor, excuse me.
I mean, pretty much just
Oil
changes
be
the entire economic balance of the
energy.
world and what we rely on for energy. And yeah,
Yeah.
nothing major.
And this
Just
guy
that.
was 47 years old, so which means he still had like another 15, 20 years of working on this stuff and making this a
Hmm.
pretty viable technology. Um, I feel bad for his family and everything, but this is, I don't, his research was on plasma dynamics,
Okay.
magnetic field, magnetic field amplification, and confinement, which helped in the transfer of fusion plasma,
Hmm.
which could harness the um, which harnesses the fusion plasma, which brings the dream of clean energy and nearest limits fusion power closer to reality.
Yeah, 'cause when you're doing fusion, you're having this
Yeah,
reaction inside the chamber. Use all those the magnetic fields to help confine this basically miniature sun explosion you're creating,
yeah,
so that it doesn't just engulf the whole lab. And by
right.
containing it, you're able to then use the heat and all that energy that you're
Which
generating to create the
avoid,
electricity.
yeah, create the
Yeah.
steam, turn to steam turbines.
Mhm.
Still steam turning the turbines, but
And some they'll
and you
use
don't.
steam. Some I mean, there's other technologies you can use with like heat differentials to generate
Right,
power instead.
right, but I bet the most traditional way they do it is
Traditionally,
to,
yes, it's still
s-
used to
s-
power steam. Yeah.
yeah. Um, I just find this very interesting, and how at the same time Venezuela is still being targeted by the United States
Hmm.
quite heavily. They have the largest oil
And will
reserves,
continue to
and
be because Congress said no on stopping Trump from just doing it. So
yeah,
by like was it 2 votes? I think.
I don't know what
Yeah,
I didn't
it was
see
it was
the vote.
close. It was
It was
close.
close,
Yeah,
um, but
Congress almost
I
kept their power.
Congress almost kept their power. Uh, so I don't. I think the genie's out of the bottle on this one. I think it's just a question of it's been delayed again. You know,
Hmm.
I think the research and information is already there. I think it's just a matter of putting the pieces together.
I
Um,
mean, that's just stopping it here on our soil or trying to put a stop. There's other countries who are also in the fusion
yeah, or
game, like
especially Europe, they are moving
and
full speed
China.
ahead of it. Yeah,
But
China. Yeah, they
oh,
have
they're
more of a
they're
self.
experimenting. There's a bunch of stuff that I mean, they don't want to talk about it because China can't
Well,
beat us. But then we have this going on,
China
so it's
China can't build things as well as
well,
we can. So
I don't know.
they don't.
They build entire cities for their population, and like
Yeah, but what I mean by build things is,
I mean, they
um,
build most of our stuff that MAGA buys.
right. But what I mean by build things is they don't build. And I made this argument before on this podcast. They build
Mm,
things. They can build things in quantity,
yeah,
but they have a really hard time when it comes to precision. You know, and I still think they're lacking behind in that department.
now,
Precision
is that with
manufacturing.
just stuff that we're getting from them, or is that for their own stuff they make for their own population? Because they may
Well,
step it up for their own stuff. I mean, you look at the
well,
electric car industry over there, and their car builds are much better quality than we're having here and way less expensive too.
Well, I would also make the argument if you're comparing it on military technology, their stealth fighters are not as stealth as ours. So I and their engines that they put in their jet engines are for their military fighters. The
Hmm.
planes don't last as long as ours because they
I
don't have the
mean, but we probably
precision tech.
spend at least 5 times what they do on their military.
Right, but so the question is, do we have the better precision? As you go up in precision manufacturing, the more it costs, to
Right.
go out. So the better question is, do they have the capability of doing it, or are they choosing to manufacture? Because in the way the old world worked prior to the collapse of communism, especially with Russia, is they viewed quantity as a quality of its own,
Right.
because they always had more people. But the United States and in the Western world took a kind of a turn of, no, we're going to focus more on precision manufacturing, and we're going to be more precise and maybe that's the way forward. Now, if you look at the Ukrainian war, Russia has really been playing hard on the quantity card, and while Ukraine's been playing hard on the precision card and innovation.
Right.
So, and it's kind of gone to a stalemate, but it looks like Ukraine, as long as they're getting the money and the supplies from the West on the precision stuff, they're making headway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would make the argument that the precision is really winning out here, which makes sense when you start looking at, somebody killed this professor, and the killer was also was here, a foreign national, and was also had like a PhD in physics. So something's not right here, So this screams of either a jealousy of patent wars or something else is going on here. So I'm
willing to bet it's about money.
Yeah, money and patents and oil. I'm almost guaranteed
money.
That. Yep. Because you can strip the hydrogen off of the carbon molecules off of the crude oil, and you can use that to feed the reactor. But something's not right here. I don't think. I think a little bit more deeper digging would reveal some things, but I don't have the resources to do that, and I think it's going to be. You're going to be looking at patents, and you're going to be looking at what was research being done and who has what to benefit from, to gain from some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I brought this up, and I know it's kind of like, how does this all relate to, what this podcast is entitled, What Were They Thinking? I think there's some people in the back room that are not thinking quite straight and not realizing I think there's short-term goals here versus long-term goals, and people are missing the ball here. And that's all I really have to say about that.
I think what they were thinking is they used to be able to get away with this kind of stuff, but times have been changing. There's cameras everywhere. There's social media. Information is flying at super high speeds. Like, you can't hide a lot of this stuff anymore. It's getting harder and harder to do. And they're still stuck in we used to do it this way. Let's just keep doing it. People have no idea. I think that's a little bit of what it is too.
Yes.
Like, government knows better, and we can do what we want. And the people are just blind sheep, and they'll just follow along.
Yep. I also think that there's maybe this kind of leads into our next topic. Netflix, Warner Brothers, Paramount.
Yeah, we discussed a little bit of it last week, but now there's another player in the game.
It looks like it looks like Netflix was going to acquire Warner Brothers, just a streaming platform of it, and trying to spin off the broadcast portion. But now Paramount is deciding to go for the hostile takeover portion for all of Warner Brothers, which includes the broadcast assets. Now, this gets more fun. Guess who's involved with the Paramount?
I'm going to say someone in the administration or tied to it. How about
Jared Kushner?
Nailed it.
Yeah. So part of the deal with Paramount wanting to take over Warner Brothers is they basically saying, hey, if you let us do this, we'll basically fire a lot of people on CNN that you hate. And basically they're being very public about this and stuff like that.
And I doubt Paramount would do that. It's not like they get rid of late night hosts who have the #1 late night show and comedy and on television because the president doesn't like them. No, they would never do something like that.
No.
Just because, and then claim it was because it costs like $16 million while they're throwing out over $100 million to try to buy this.
No.
They would never do that.
Yeah, so I figured that this was kind of a good segue here. I hate going down the conspiracy hole, but this is just getting insane.
And the government needs to stop doing stuff that makes it look like a giant conspiracy.
Yeah, I can understand some stuff being conspiracy and then coming out to be true. over the years, because it's technology and people
Mhm.
don't understand that technology. Um, and it turns out we had the capability doing it. It was being developed. It's like how,
Just hidden
you
from the
know,
people. Yep.
just hidden from the people. It's like how, people said, oh, we saw the B-2 bomber years and years ago in the New York City area. Well, that's because they were testing its stealth capability by through the highest radar concentration in the entire country, which happens to be the Northeast. Um, when I see UFOs in the sky around here, I kind of go like, oh, what is Sikorsky working on? You know,
Well, I mean, the government's just also straight up hiding the contact with aliens they've already have, and we'll see them all in the next few years. So, that's
aliens.
just my opinion.
Yeah, well, we'll probably see aliens at some point. I don't
Next couple of
know.
years, within the next two,
Next two? Oh yeah.
calling
Well,
it.
this guy's kind of a loose cannon, so he might just let it slip when he's
That's what I'm
not
saying.
supposed to.
They're already like working, like they're trying to keep it from the people. It's the whole like
Yep.
government is trying to like, we know better than the people, and we're
Yeah.
gonna gatekeep this and use it for ourselves, and then eventually it's just gonna be no.
Or we gotta prep the population to be uh to accept this reality.
Except the way they want.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I think a lot of people, if they were to say that we're oh, there's aliens, I think there would be a visual gut reaction. Oh crap, we're no longer on top of the food chain.
Well, yeah, there'd be
Or
some fear.
yeah,
But then I think eventually it would shift to realizing a lot of this stupid petty stuff we've been arguing about is pointless.
yeah,
Like, if there's other beings out there, like, and we're over here fighting because we don't like the way you look or the way like you talk or like, what the
yeah,
like, why?
yeah.
We're
So
like,
I think there's going
it
to be
could
a lot
unify
more.
us. There will be a
It
lot
could
of fear,
unify us,
but I think it would
or
unify
it could
us.
destroy us.
It'll start off with a lot of people being afraid and a lot of
Right,
like
and a
and
lot of
that
civil unrest.
and I'm
That's
sure, yeah, and I'm sure we wouldn't have a party that would feed into that fear at all,
oh gee
to
whiz,
try to
no,
divide the
no,
people. But I think eventually it would unify us as a
yeah,
worldwide
yeah,
major event, as like a human
yeah.
civilization.
I think a lot of people are concerned about that, and they fear a one world government and all this, and
Eh.
what's that? The Illuminati is what I'm thinking of.
Oh, well, yeah.
That whole thing. But I think this goes back to Netflix, Warner Brothers, and
That's what we're
Paramount.
usually talking
Yeah, because I know,
about.
it's because now the government actors or their family members are becoming more and more in control of this.
Mm,
They're solidifying the media companies, and not allowing independent media to flourish, or they're not allowing people to do what they want to do on the channels that they own. They're not taking a laissez-faire attitude of, I own the company, it's going to do what it's going to do. I just make sure it has the money, and it will
right.
generate the money itself based on the good independent reporting it does. You know what I mean? And I think that's been lost on a lot of corporations, is that sometimes you need to hear the unbridled truth from people that you don't like.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to employ those people, because otherwise you develop a monoculture of yes men around you, and that is not what you need in order to be successful in business. You need people to challenge the status quo and ask the question of, why are we doing this? Why do you think this? And what can we do to make this better?
Yeah.
And people say, oh, competition is the greatest innovator or successor, but this is not competition. This is consolidation into monopolies. There's a reason why they passed the Sherman Antitrust Act.
They don't want to follow it, but they passed it.
That they passed it in the 30s. There's a reason why the FCC has rules about broadcast ownership and making sure foreign nationals don't have interest in our broadcast media. Some of the people that are backing the Warner Brothers bid is foreign state actors, and they're putting up from their sovereign national wealth funds.
Yeah.
Well, they're also saying, well, they won't have voting rights on the board. I'm like, yeah, okay, but they're backing
those companies can also contribute to super PACs that help fund political actions and the way that our government shapes laws.
Right. So it's half a dime a dozen, whether or not they have direct voting power, or they're just going to be like, well, if you don't do this, we'll just back out with the money. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
tell me how that's not a rigged board election at that point,
Yep.
or a rigged board vote, So I just, yeah. And I think, have we talked about the Epstein files yet today?
No, I mean, today is the perfect day to talk about them. I mean,
yes, today is 30 days.
Today
from the
is
signing of the bill.
the 30-day mark. There's supposed to be
Yeah.
a searchable database today.
By midnight tonight.
By midnight. They're going to push that deadline. I know it. They're going to go right up to that last minute.
Yep. And we all know what's going to happen at midnight. The website crashed due to DNS traffic being being, and they'll be like, well, we weren't prepared for the influx of traffic.
Yeah,
And
they
how
don't
convenient
think
on a
anyone
Friday.
really wants. No one really cares about Epstein files, right?
No.
No. I'm
Nah.
sure there won't be hardly
Nah.
anyone digging through them at all.
No, not the reporters, not the general public, not most of MAGA that wants to see them, not Congress itself,
Well, there will be some in Congress who won't just because they want to stay in that bubble of.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't, or as Mike Johnson say, I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, so I can't comment.
Yeah.
Mike,
you went on vacation. You'll have some plenty of time to do that.
Right.
You're not working. You have plenty of time to do this. So you're on vacation until January. Oh, that's because you don't want to see this and hear about this? Oh, you don't want to pass
called an early recess?
Oh, you don't want to deal with the healthcare petition discharge? Oh, this is you don't want to deal with the whole use of force problem?
Similar to the whole when the government was shut down, you wouldn't call anyone back. But
yeah, it's like I'm going to put my head in this. I'm going to put my head in the sand.
Yeah. How's he going to blame this one on Democrats? Oh, we had an early recess because Democrats. I see how he's going to spin it. Like,
yeah,
he's doing the same thing he did during the shutdown, without a shutdown to use as a mask.
Yeah, he's this is insane.
The same tactic.
Same tactic, and it's insane.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Senate's kind of going like, okay,
yeah, Senate's like same thing. They're like, I guess we'll do something. I don't know. Like,
they can't do anything without the House of Representatives, so they're like, we're stuck, guys. Or we could be saying Bueller.
Bueller.
Yeah. That's just. And then the last thing
very interesting.
Yeah. And then there's the rumor that like 20 Republicans are going to quit before the midterms, so we can say hello, Speaker Jeffrey.
Ooh.
Before the midterms.
Ooh. That would be.
We're already seeing Marjorie Taylor Greene's quitting.
She's got that pension locked in now, so
if other people follow, then they no problem with the House of Representatives. The other thing I wanted to mention was, you wanted to mention this. Let's talk, since we're talking about money.
Oh,
I think, and money.
Yeah.
Right? I think let's talk about the penny.
Yeah.
You and I have some different opinions about this. So why don't you kick it off?
Yeah. You used to be able to buy some candy for it. So I wanted to bring it up because we stopped making the penny because it costs. They officially stopped making the penny this year because it costs. It costs 4 cents to make a 1 cent piece. So that right there, I mean, that's kind of dumb. So what they did to mark the era of this is they auctioned off the final 232 sets that were minted of the penny, and they're calling them the Omega sets, and they have a little Omega symbol on them. One of these pennies, one set of these pennies, which was just 3 coins, one of which was 24 karat gold, sold for $800,000 for 3 pennies. So we're calling it worthless and wasteful, but then they put an Omega symbol on it, and it costs more than my house. again, going back to that, money is whatever we deem it's worth.
Right.
Or gold or metal or a can of Pepsi. It's whatever we deem it's worth. So these 1 cent pennies that cost 4 cents to make are now worth more than a house because they put an extra symbol on it. And they'll never make them again.
Yeah. Or they won't, or there's no provision in law to allow them to make it again.
Right. And this is it's the first time since 1793 that we won't have a penny in our currency. So I mean, there is some significance to collectors out there. Is it worth? I mean, when they sold all the sets in total, they made $16.7 million selling 232 sets of pennies.
Yeah. So, as somebody that collects coins, okay, and knows a little bit more about this world, is that there's the face value of the coin itself, or the bill, and then there's the collector value of it. Now, there's, let's say you have a misprinted bill, or bills in sequence. Those are worth more than just the average bill on the street. Okay.
To a collector. Technically, they're worth actually nothing.
If you took a $50 gold piece to the bank, they will give you $50 in your banking account for it. Not what the actual piece is actually worth in gold. No. That's still legal U.S. currency. Okay. Now, the mint knows this. They'll sell it for spec price or a little bit more than spec price with the certificate of certification saying da 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 da. Okay, but when I saw the penny was being ended, I kind of knew they were going to do something like this. The better question: where is the money they're generating from this going to? You know what I mean? Generally, it's probably going back into the agency's budget to do something, or offset their costs of running their operations. So, in the whole scheme of things, 16, you said how much did they make?
16.7 million to sell what was essentially, what is it? 696 pennies.
Right. So essentially it covers the cost of the machinery, the labor, and they say it costs 4 cents for every penny that's made, but that's the cost of it's just made out of the copper zinc sandwich.
Right.
We're not talking about it being made out of the gold or silver.
Right. I mean, like I said, there's one that was 24 karat gold.
Right.
That particular penny was sold for 800,000.
Right. But so there's a lot of things when it comes to this. So I don't want people to be so upset that the government did this. This has been ongoing.
Oh yeah, it's nothing to be upset. It's
decades that the mint does this.
It kind of harks back to that when we were talking about the economy of gold standard versus all the debt. Right. Literally, it's whatever we assign value to it. Our entire economy is based off of what people are willing to pay.
Yep,
that's it.
And I think the other thing one last thing you wanted to mention this, and it goes back. I don't know how to do a segue for this, but
which one?
Oh, the feds versus the states.
Yes.
Pardons.
Yes.
Which now
the pardons are the I actually. So we talked about AI last week too.
Right. So the states versus the 50 states on the AI.
Yeah. So basically, there was an executive order that established an AI litigation task force, but it's not to go after companies that break the law. It's specifically designed to sue individual states that try to pass their own AI safety and privacy regulations. So basically they're saying, if we haven't made a rule for it yet, you aren't allowed to have rules at all. And they will literally are going
And this is an inherent violation of the 10th Amendment, by the way.
Well, they're saying their argument is that it will create a patchwork of all these different states, and it's going to stifle innovation with all the different regulations based on this state or that state, or
all right. It sounds like something I made an argument about before, that the federal government didn't get their act together.
Right.
So let me put it this way. Nice try. But I think the courts are going to be like, this is a 10th Amendment issue, and power to the states if you don't actually do something.
I mean, yeah, because right now, all it does is help big tech, because instead of going and fighting California's regulation and fighting New York's regulation and fighting Iowa's, whatever state comes up with one, they can now just
Right.
go to DC and be like, stick the lawyers on them.
Right. And it's going
And
to be
it's not protecting people. It's not the government. Literally, I mean, they wanted in the big beautiful bill 10 years of no regulation. So
I think
this is just more proof of it. Literally going to sue states that try to protect their citizens because the government won't do it.
And here's the funny part. This is a Republican administration that says, and the Republicans saying state rights, states' rights,
right?
And they're taking away state rights.
You want to have? We're going to sue you over your state rights. Like, well, that's also this administration. He likes to sue everybody. So
yeah. So with that being said, that this really is really kind of something that should be explored more by states' attorney generals, and probably will be, as states pass laws. And there's probably going to be some interesting court fights over the 10th Amendment, and that's probably going to have some downstream effects of some of the other things that they're trying to give more power to the states on, but not and less power to the states on.
Right.
It can't work both ways, guys. It's got to be the same consistent rule for pretty much every topic. So, if you're going to do this, be careful. As much as the Supreme Court is kind of in your back pocket, they kind of understand that even the most conservative ones, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And they think a little bit more long term. So there's only so much they can do. So I think that really, and then, when this is kind of segues into our next topic about something about pardons.
Oh, yes. So this let me get to my story. Yeah. So this was in has to do with Colorado. So there was
Colorado.
The White House announced they're breaking up the National Center for Atmospheric Research in Boulder, Colorado. It's been there for 60 years. They're saying the budget director, what's his name? Ross Vaught.
Whatever of the week is
the budget director called it a source of climate alarmism. But the real reason is a little bit deeper. It's retaliation basically against the governor there in Colorado. So basically, Trump issued a pardon for Tina Peters, who was a former Colorado clerk in prison for state-level election crimes. Now, a president can't pardon state-level crimes, only federal. So it was kind of symbolic that he did it. But then when the governor refused to release her based on this symbolic pardon, the White House effectively said, nice weather lab you have there. Shame if something happened to it. So they started no, we're not going to fund it now. And this is, it's a tool that helps predict hurricanes, wildfires, floods. Like, it's kind of important. That data
as a degree in meteorology, this is really going to screw up a lot of corporations and businesses that need this information.
Right.
So there might be some downstream effects of, hey, Walmart might be calling, being like, hey, buddy, what are you doing?
Not even that, but also the National Weather Service uses that data. The FAA uses that data. Like
the airplanes, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be, this is what
all because the governor wouldn't do what Trump technically is not allowed to do, but wanted to do anyway.
And what's
he's just throwing a fit like a little toddler that says, like, I want ice cream for dinner. Well, you can't have ice cream for dinner. Well, then you can't have rubber. He's just throwing a fit. Like,
I hate to say this. Maybe, as somebody, the National Center for Atmospheric Research is it's actually part of NOAA, actually. It also works with NASA. There's a lot of different reasons why we do this research, and the reason why we do this research, climate change, and I'm sure, as you being former military, understands, the military doesn't necessarily disagree or agree with climate change. They just assume that it's happening because it's been affecting their
Yeah,
operations. So
they
they want to know as
literally
much
see
as
it.
they
Yeah.
yeah. So they want to know as much as possible in order to be able to be ready to prepare and counter any additional threats that might
Yep.
be the threats to national security, and be able to adapt and actually do this stuff.
Hmm.
And the military is not a stranger to weather modification, because they actually have tried in doing this stuff in Vietnam. See Operation Popeye, by the way. Um, and so I would say there's a lot of and cloud seeding is not something that is a conspiracy thing. It is actually done
Oh
out
yeah.
west to help the farmers get rain for their crops. So, and as these national corporations take over farms, they're going to want to have more say about how the weather looks like. And they need research in order to be able to do this.
Yep.
So he's screwing over farmers in the process.
It yeah.
It's
He,
just
he's trying to make a power move, but all it's going to do is just hurt the country, hurt
it's going to
different
backfire.
organizations. It's yeah.
It's going to backfire wonderfully in his face.
Yeah.
When it eventually hits the fan, because it's
Mhm.
how do I put this politely? Weather affects everything. We don't control it. We need to understand it.
Now, how do you put it not politely?
Yeah. um, yeah. Basically,
But
how do
no,
I put this?
it's
I'm
yeah.
trying to
The,
figure
the
out.
Republicans have been talk about climate change for a while. I mean, they could spin it that way, like, oh, climate change isn't real, blah blah blah. But I mean, really, he's just throwing a tantrum because
Right.
he wants to
What I'm
pardon
trying.
someone that helped rig an election
Yeah.
because that's the only way he could win.
Right.
And
I'm just trying. What I'm trying to say
yeah,
is to our viewers is that weather has more of an impact on your day-to-day life, and seasonal climate forecast has more of an impact on your day-to-day life than you actually realize.
whether you
You know?
believe it or not.
Yeah. If you can get a pretty decent forecast for a season or two out, you may not know it's going to rain on Thursday
Right.
in
You have a
3 months.
general idea. Like we had a
But
general idea with La Nina that the impact of
right,
snow in New England versus
right,
out west.
right. So, and
And that's why I
when
was
you
able to ski before Thanksgiving, and the ski resorts in out west still aren't even open.
right. So I think a lot of people need to understand that it has huge effects on industry. Really big effects on industry. You
Yeah.
know, is your construction season going to be longer or shorter this year? How do we plan for mass layoffs for the construction industry?
Hmm.
Or do we keep them on because
Or
we're
different
not going to
seasonal
let
industries
right? That's what I'm
that
talking about.
rely on the weather. Yeah. Like I said, like
Yeah,
ski industries. Like if they're not open, all these people that normally have jobs by now can't go to work because there's nothing to work.
right.
And they would
So
have known that because of the weather patterns. They could help predict it and like, oh, we'll have our employees come in maybe 2 weeks later than last year because we're
right,
expecting a later start this year.
right, and not to mention the fact that that's part of the reason why the National Weather Service and NOAA is in the Department of Commerce, not the Department of the
Wait,
Interior.
you're saying it affects our money?
Yeah,
Guess
you know,
maybe they should make it rain.
it's like this. One of the first international treaties was about weather because they wanted to for shipping when it was the age of sail.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, so uh, industry and governments have had a very interesting relationship with weather over
mm,
the years, and Benjamin Franklin was kind of the first one to kind of put some of the pieces together on some of this stuff, you
yeah.
know. So
You could say he had the key to it.
right, but this is
The
this
lightning
always
joke.
gets me. It always gets me upset. You know what I mean? And you know, I this is one of those things that I really got to say, what were they thinking when they start attacking, these institutions over the years that have refined, and applied the scientific method
Mhm.
in a very strict and meaningful way in order to get results out for the people. Yes, maybe 10 years ago, let's say, maybe 15 years ago. Remember the 5-day forecast was all the rage on the TV?
Mm.
You know, it was because it was getting really accurate and everything. Uh, we're now up to a 10-day forecast that's fairly accurate.
I mean, considering you're predicting how much rain you could possibly get in an area 10 days out versus, I mean, yeah, it's pretty, it's
Yeah,
not like 100%. I mean,
but it's
the
pretty
farther
darn
out you
good.
go, obviously it's harder. Like, if you're doing
Right,
a course and you're off by a little degree, it's not much of a difference as you start off, but eventually, I mean, there's a bit
right,
of a gap,
right.
but
But
still, you're still in
it's
that,
not.
like, that little
It's not.
cone of
It's not.
predictability.
In hurricane prediction, it's gotten really
Hmm.
better, or with the computer modeling.
Yeah.
So it's really gotten better. And you want to tear this apart?
Yeah.
Uh,
Makes sense to
please,
me.
you know, I'm sure the military is going to basically like, no, you're not doing this, and eventually, some sanity will come around. You know what I mean? But
We'll see.
who knows?
We'll see.
We're coming up on an hour, a little over an hour
Yeah.
here.
Should
I
probably,
think we should probably say, mm, hmm, I guess we got to do an award here.
yep.
What were they thinking award goes to this week? We could go to the Florida legislature.
Mm.
We could go
Mhm,
to
mhm.
Speaker Mike Johnson.
I mean, he's got a few of those on his shelf already.
Yeah, and then we got
Uh,
Trump's Golden Ballroom
I mean,
and Trump himself.
I also would like to nominate Congress not voting to keep their own power as it comes to like attacking other countries. Like,
Yeah, that's another option there too. But what do you think? I'm thinking,
it's tough. There's a lot of good ones this week. There's a lot of good ones.
I almost want to go with the Florida legislature.
I mean, that's that one is so, yeah,
That one
that
is so out
it's
there,
it's
and they
it's
had the time to review it in the process, and they managed to sign it into law,
it's
and
just
they
so
still,
silly. Like,
yeah. What were they thinking, literally, when they passed this bill?
like,
I think it's going. I think it goes to the Florida legislature and the
yeah,
governor down there
yeah.
on this one.
I mean, yeah,
Uh,
a small infraction is one thing, but a full-on misdemeanor with jail time
up to
for
60 days
what
and a
literally
$500 fine.
every car comes with when you buy it from a dealership everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
And
I
writing
mean,
the
yeah,
law,
I agree.
so
I think they should get the award. Yep.
yeah, the
Yep.
writing the law so broad that basically, even if it's the head of the screw that covers it, you're still getting arrested and ticketed for it.
Yep. Well done.
Well done, Florida. Well done.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have Florida Man of the Week. We have the legislature of the week in Florida doing this. It's like
Outstanding.
Outstanding, Florida. So
Truly.
with that being said,
Leading
we
the country.
we hope to continue to grow this podcast here. I know we're recording this a day later than we normally do and releasing it a day later, but I hope you guys continue to like and subscribe this channel.
Share it with your friends.
Share it with your friends.
Have deep conversations about it during Christmas.
Yeah.
Let your family know.
Yeah. So
we're here to save lives.
Yeah.
That's the purpose of this, right? It's help people save their lives.
Yeah.
That's what I was told when I was recruited for this. So
yeah. That's shoot. That's not what I wanted.
Already I'm getting cut off. See that?
No,
trying to silence me. Look at this.
No, I didn't want to do that. I don't understand what I did here. Okay. All right. I'm gonna. Okay. There we go. At the state.
I'm back. The government couldn't hold me down.
Okay. I something funky on
I
my
went
end.
on early recess before it was over.
Yeah. So with that being said, I hope everybody that's what I was
There
looking
we
for.
go. That's the
I
one.
hope everybody likes, follows, and subscribes to this channel. And if you have comments, make sure you make them intelligent and cite your sources. And we'll be more than happy to respond to you. But
Yep.
with that being said, thank you. Remember to like and follow.
And happy holidays.
And happy holidays.